Ahoy, crew members! Jesse Lee Peterson, known for his provocative interviews, sits down with this delightful feminist. I'll pause periodically to point out any logical fallacies or contradictions that pop up. Jesse Lee Peterson interviews move fast and cover a wide range of topics. If you enjoy these kinds of interviews, or any Jesse Lee Peterson debates, hit subscribe. Let's go.
I've noticed that women today, not all, but mostly liberal women, they pretend to be tough, but yet when you see these type of movements, they are saying that they're weak. You know, they need laws, and they accuse men. It's as though they don't know how or have the strength to say no to a man or to walk away. Whereas when I was growing up, women were stronger. And if they didn't want to do anything with you, you knew it. You said, okay, fine. You know, what happened to these women that they're so weak that they need to pass laws? They're always complaining. They're starting movements, while yet you hear them say, "Oh, I'm a strong woman. I'm strong. I'm wonderful. It's like they're lying. A lie is in there somewhere, because a strong woman or a strong person wouldn't be crying and passing laws and trying to hurt other people. They would defend themselves. They would go on with life, because life offers so many challenges. Are they weak or are they strong? I don't know what they are and what they want. And it's mostly liberal women, feminist kind of people. They're still not standing alone the way a strong person would do. Wouldn't you agree?
No.
Oh, why not?
I absolutely would not agree. If that was the case, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., in all the work that he did in equality, in compassion, and in education, would have marched on Washington alone.
Let's pause right here. Notice what just happened. Jesse defines strength as self-reliance and independence, while Emiko immediately redefines strength as speaking out and collective action. That's not a rebuttal, that's a definition swap. If strength means standing alone, then citing MLK marching with thousands doesn't refute the claim. It changes the metric. Collective action can be effective, sure, but effectiveness isn't the same thing as individual strength. This is a classic equivocation fallacy. Same word, different meanings, no acknowledgement. Until both sides agree on what strength actually means, they're not debating, they're talking past each other.
But that was about changing a law that prevented people based on color only. It wasn't about one-on-one interaction.
In a lot of ways, though, one-on-one interaction did occur that was incorrect. There were plenty of white, privileged oppressors that took advantage of the system to continue to abuse and oppress African Americans who are great contributors of society.
When did that happen and when?
All throughout history. As soon as white people started going to Africa and pulling people against their will onto slave ships.
That didn't happen. That's a made-up lie. The blacks were sold to the Arabs by other blacks, elitist black, rich blacks, kings, and then those Arabs took them to other parts of the world and sold them. The white man didn't just go to Africa to get some Negroes. That was made up.
Either way, they were sold against their will. A human being is not to be bought or sold. They're not a commodity.
But it wasn't about a so-called white privilege male.
Okay, let's substitute the word white for Arab then.
No, yeah, it was
That's fine.
The Arabs who did it. And yes, maybe that was wrong, but the white man didn't do it. So likewise,
but it was still wrong.
It's such a very interesting point you're making, because likewise, these liberal women, they could be making up lies too, just like you thought that was the truth. They could be pushing a lie as well with a hidden agenda. Is that possible?
No.
And why is that?
Because there's been enough unrefuted proof that has come out that sexual violence against women has systematically existed for generations.
Over the last 20 years or so, there have been a lot of laws passed against men to restrict them. And so now these women are like going out of control. They're slapping them, yelling at them, and they say, "You can't hit me back because you're going to jail."
Oh, I've heard that. Yeah.
Right, and they have sex with men, and then if they get angry, hey, I just got raped. Your movement, is it for the men who are being sexually abused and mentally and physically abused, or is it just for the women only?
No, it's for everybody that is on the receiving end of sexual and domestic violence. So we are open to all survivors, men, women, and children, because we understand and we know for a fact that violence doesn't know just a gender, just a race, just a religion.
What is feminism?
That's an interesting question. What is feminism? Well, okay. Let me ask you to clarify, please. What is feminism in my book, or what is the actual definition of feminism as by the Merriam-Webster
Because
dictionary?
of time, a little bit of both.
Okay. Well, feminism is a movement both socially and anthropologically in recent modern history, although it has existed previously throughout civilization in many cultures, whereas it's concerned for women's rights, whether that's equality or education or the right to work or reproductive rights, and that happens through social activism, through lawmaking, education, so on and so forth. My definition, I think a feminist, in its most fundamental, just so we're clear, the most fundamental, simplest form is somebody that looks at a woman and goes, hey, you're cool. Like, you're not an object. Hey, it's really nice to meet you, you're a person.
Yeah.
Hey, good connecting with you. And the person that sees them as a human being first and as a female second.
That's a very interesting statement. And so I need a short answer.
Okay.
I've never asked anyone this before. How does a man look at a woman and not think she's attractive and think sex? How is that possible?
They make a choice not to do it.
Here's another move worth calling out. Emiko invokes slavery and the civil rights movement to frame modern feminist claims as morally equivalent. That's a false analogy. Slavery was a legally enforced system denying basic human rights. Feminist policy debates today are about laws, standards of evidence, and social norms, not ownership of human beings. Those are not interchangeable moral categories. Referencing historical oppression doesn't automatically validate a modern claim. That's an appeal to moral authority, not an argument. History can inform a discussion, but it doesn't substitute for evidence or logic in the present.
But it's in the man's gene.
Sure.
That's what attracts the man to the woman.
Sure.
That doesn't mean he has to go get her. He shouldn't rape her. He shouldn't force her or anything. But men look at females and think, wow. Just like females look at men
Absolutely.
and think, wow.
Sure. Right.
And so you've done that, right?
Yeah.
And so what's wrong with men doing it if you and other women are looking at men in
No,
that
there's nothing
way?
wrong. There's nothing wrong with the man. The issue is not a man looking a woman up and down going in their head.
Right.
The issue is when the man chooses to act on that despite the woman saying no. It's only if the woman says no or gives the signals, I'm not interested, and that man keeps
That makes
doing
sense.
it. That's not okay.
But it's okay for men to look at women and go, yeah.
I think any man
Mamma
that says
mia.
that they, if any man says that they don't do that in their head, they're probably lying.
Yeah.
Probably.
And women too, right?
Absolutely. It's a
Yeah.
human thing.
Are feminists in competition with men? Yes or no?
Some of them are, some of them aren't.
I got that
is-
impression from those godless women at the Golden Globe Award that they were in competition with men.
Some of them are, some of them aren't.
Do you love men?
Do I love men?
Uh-huh.
I do.
You know,
I do.
that's a good answer.
I do.
And what is love?
You ask great questions.
Thank you.
Wow.
When a woman accuses a man of sexual assault, should we just take her word at it or just hear her out but wait until the evidence presents itself?
I think, well, I mean, being the founder of the I Believe You project, our aim is to have belief be the default position for all survivors of sexual violence.
Before the proof?
I think that it's important that we hear them out. It is what is
But
not okay.
believe it though, right?
There are countless women and men who have brought forth proof to community leaders, the system, law enforcement, whatever, and they are disbelieved regardless of the
Well,
proof.
that's a different story. But just because someone says it, should we believe them just because they said it?
I think it's worth reserving judgment. And what is most important at that moment, if someone comes forward with a claim or an allegation of sexual violence, the most important thing that we can do as a supporter is to listen without judgment, without injecting our own personal, oh, but I know that guy, man, he's cool, I just had a beer with him, he wouldn't do, you don't know what he would do. There are serial killers that have families, you know? So
but don't believe it or disbelieve it, just hear it out, or him or her out.
The first thing is to hear them out.
All right, but don't just think that the other person is guilty just because that person said it.
Let them have the space to speak what their experience was.
Right.
And then if there's an opportunity to offer help and support and the story, okay, this person needs some help, get them the help, help them out.
But don't just believe the accuser just because they said it, right?
I would say that there are enough instances where there are falsehoods that it is important to exercise a level of awareness, awakeness, and responsibility, but that most of the time, any allegations of sexual violence generally turn out to be true in whatever varying degrees the truth is in it.
So is that a yes or no, not to just believe the person just because they said it? Is that a yes or no? Because a lot of people are going to pay attention to what you say here.
I think you can do a combination of both. So my answer is, yes, you should, your default position is to believe them, but there's a little asterisk with the fine print that says, listen to them, accept that they need your help, find out more. If this sounds like something that is really, this is what's up, right, and nobody's blowing it out of proportion, take the next steps to help them.
Would you want, if a woman accused you, and not that you're a lesbian or anything, but if a woman accused...
I didn't know I was.
No.
Did he just out me?
No. If a woman accused you, employee accused you of that because she got mad at you, whatever
Sure,
reason,
right.
and she went and told someone, would you want to just hear her out, but don't make judgment of you until they get all the evidence?
I think that if somebody was to accuse me of such a thing, I would like to get a phone call about it.
Yeah.
And I would like to be able to sit down with that person and a third party and to discuss and say, hey, you're feeling upset about this, let's talk about it, let's remedy this.
And you wouldn't want to lose your job and your company just because some person accused you without proof, right?
No, absolutely not. And I think the same is true. I think the same is true for men too. It's like
that's what I mean.
if anybody brings an allegation without something to back it up, and they're crying wolf, they're crying wolf.
How about if the woman is hidden in the darkness, the accuser is me coming forth too and saying, this person accused you, and both people are in the forefront so you can see who they are. Is that fair?
I think
they don't show a lot of women who are accused.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. I think that fair doesn't really have much to do with it.
Is that right?
Sometimes.
It is right sometimes?
Sometimes.
So you wouldn't mind if someone accused you of something sometimes, but you don't see your accuser, you don't confront your accuser, you can't prove that your accuser is wrong? Would that be fair to you? You would like that? Sometimes?
I'm not saying...
This is where the tension really breaks open. Emiko argues we should believe survivors, while also acknowledging false accusations and due process. Those positions conflict unless carefully defined, and they're not. If believe means emotional support, fine. But if it means presume guilt, that directly undermines due process. You can't hold both without clarification. This is a Motte and Bailey move. When challenged, believe victims retreats to compassion, but expands again when discussing laws and consequences. Precision matters here, because vague standards are how innocent people get hurt.
I would like. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I would like it.
Would it be fair or right sometimes?
If I had done something so egregious?
No, if you haven't, you just...
Oh, if I haven't?
But no one knows that, though.
Well, if I haven't, that's another story.
But no one knows. It's just accused.
Well, that's why we have courts of law.
Back in 2014, the Rolling Stone published an article alleging that a gang occurred at a UVA campus fraternity party. That was debunked. The Rolling Stone was ordered to pay out $1.65 million to the fraternity for defamation. And back in 2006, this was a major story, 3 Duke lacrosse players went to trial.
I remember that.
After being falsely accused of at a party. The lacrosse players were eventually cleared of the charges. In 2013, a male Columbia University student was found not responsible for a stripper. Yet, accuser, they call her the mattress girl.
Right.
Remember her carrying the mattress girl?
Yes.
Continued to accuse him by carrying a mattress around the campus as a school project.
Right.
And she received course credit from the university for the project. What do you say to those stories?
I have mixed feelings on the mattress project, I do, because in one sense, I know for myself that I was disbelieved despite the evidence that was brought, and I've continued to speak out anyway. And so I think that if in her case, and in the young gentleman student's case, if it was a case where the judicial system failed, I think she has every right to continue to speak out and tell her story and speak her truth. And in that sense, the school can elect.
But she was proven to be wrong, lying.
There are a lot of cases in history in the United States justice system where people are proved to be wrong. And in fact, that's not at all the case. It's an encouragement to hear you ask these questions. I think some people might get offended or upset about it, but I take it as an encouragement, in fact, to take personal responsibility as a person, as a human, not just as a woman, as a human, to educate myself, to continue education of others, to continue a dialogue so that we can work together, ultimately, so that nobody is assaulted. Nobody loses a job when they haven't done anything wrong, right? Nobody uses the system and cries wolf. And for those who actually have been victimized, that they ultimately get the help.
I totally enjoyed talking with you. Final question.
Yes, sir.
Did you have fun?
I did. I did, actually, very much so.
Well, I appreciate your time.
Well, that's enough for today. Toward the end, it still seemed like she wants to believe victims even after they've been proven to be lying. So, there's still work to do. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoy learning how to argue with logic, hit subscribe. Take care.